Whether it's a tray in your entryway for your car keys, one for remote controls on the coffee table, a catch-all on your nightstand for your wallet, phone, and jewelry, or a small tray on your office desk for thumb drives and SD cards. Custom-tooled leather valet trays help organize your home while adding a classic design element to any room. In this tutorial, I'll guide you step by step through the process I use to create these beautiful leather pieces. If this sounds like something you'd like to learn, stick around. I'll show you exactly how they're made. The first thing I do is cut the leather for this project. The tray I'm making is 8 inch by 10 inch and made from 9 to 10 ounce Herman Oak veg tan leather. Here you see me trimming my leather to size using my utility knife and carpenter square. As a side note, the back of my square has 400 grit sandpaper glued to it. This keeps the square from sliding around while I'm making cuts, and the fine grit doesn't scar the leather. I get these 8 by 12 inch carpenter squares at Harbor Freight, and last I checked they were only $3.99 each. Next, I use a circle template to mark the corners in preparation for cutting them with the utility knife, taking several slices instead of trying to round the corners in one cut. Now I'm using an edger to soften the edges front and back. I spent some time burnishing the edges of my tray. There's a link in the description to a video where I go into detail on how I finish my edges. Now I'm getting set up to trace my design onto the leather. All right, the first step before we do anything else, we need to case our leather. So I've got a spray bottle just with plain water in it. And I put a towel down so we don't make too much of a mess here, but I wanted you to see the process. I hope you can see, but that water's kind of puddled up on the surface. Maybe you can see it's starting to absorb into the leather. All right. Once it's pretty much all absorbed, I'll go back over it. And I want the leather to be fairly wet. You can see it's starting to absorb. And I'll go over this about one more time, I'm guessing, and we'll try to give it a go at that point. You can see we've got some areas where the water is pooled some, so I'll take and smooth that out so that it soaks into the leather. We'll go one more time here. All right, and I'm going to let that soak into that water soak into the leather about 5 minutes maybe, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how we set this up to start tracing our design. I start by printing my design to scale on plain copy paper. I then apply 2 inch wide packing tape to the back side of the print to keep it from getting wet. I also tape the front, but that's really not necessary. Next is a little trick I use to center the design and still be able to check to see how the tracing's coming along without disturbing the placement. Like you see here, I tape the paper design to the inside corner of the square. Then I slide the leather blank up against the edges of the square so the design is centered. Okay, I've got my swivel knife sharpened up. And the first thing I want to do is cut these border lines in. I just take my see-through ruler, line up my corner marks, and just run my swivel knife right along the edge. See my mark there. I'm gonna try not to get my head in underneath the camera, but I can't make any guarantees. What I've done is I lined up this little black line with my corners to make it a little bit easier on me. Alright, turn this around. Again, I'm going to line up those black marks, make it easier for me. Because once I get my hand up here, it casts a shadow. It makes it difficult for me to see where my marks are. And then if I miss my corners by not long enough, I can come back and square them up. Alright, so now I'm going to start cutting. Again, I try to work from corner out. Alright, so our leather's starting to come back to its original color, which means it's probably ready to start beveling. And I think what I'll do first is take this push beveler, this Berry King push beveler, and go around the outside here where we did our first cuts on the border. Bevel these edges here a little bit. See if I can keep my head out of the camera lens. That might be a trick. I do lean into it, forgive me. As I get older, I don't see as well as I used to. I have to get up on top of things and get close to them. I tell you, it's no fun getting old. If you're getting old, you know what I mean. And if you're a youngster, enjoy it while it's here, because we don't stay young forever. Don't take your eyesight for granted either. It's a great gift. Anytime you're working with any kind of tools, be sure to wear safety glasses. Anything that could possibly damage your eyes, be careful. Alright, as you see, this push beveler, it's a Berry King push beveler. It burnishes the edges and bevels to the inside. I don't know if you can see that. It's a cool little tool. Saves you a lot of time not having to go around and hammer bevel the outside. This is also the next step. This is a Berry King checkered beveler. This is the largest beveler that I use. I've got this one and this one. These are both Berry Kings, and they're the ones I use the most. So, also got this Berry King mallet. Berry King makes great tools. So, all right, I'm going to start like maybe on this outside edge right here. Okay, our lines are beveled now. We're going to take a pear shader and add some depth to our flower petals. Here I continue using the pear shader on the vine ends, creating even more depth to the design. Now I'm going to switch to a background tool to create negative space on the sides of our vines and around the outside of our design. Here I'm taking a mule's foot and stamping accents along portions where two or more vines intersect. Next I'll add accent lines using my swivel knife. also using a veiner to add accents around the edge of the rounded vines in the design. I'm going to cut groove lines along the fold areas on the back of the tray. Before I do this, I want to sharpen the gouge. I sharpen it using a strop I've made from a couple of pieces of 10-ounce veg tan that I have made a deep V cut into. Then I loaded the cut with green polishing compound. I pull the tip of the gouge back across the groove multiple times until it's good and sharp. Then I've taken a pencil and drawn guidelines in from the edge of the tray 1.5 inches on all 4 sides. Then using my plastic ruler as a guide, I take the V-gouge and cut along these lines. This thins the leather along the folds I'll make around the back side of the tray. With all the tooling on the front of our tray finished and the V-lines cut on the back, I have taken the spray bottle and hit both sides of our tray with water in preparation of molding the tray to shape. The leather blank needs to be quite wet for this process, and after the tray is molded, it usually takes overnight to dry completely. Here I'm folding all 4 edges up along our gouge lines and pinching the corners together to mold the tray to the final shape. With everything molded and shaped, I'll check the tray several times during the drying process to make sure everything is holding its shape and that the tray sets level. I also check to see that the tray hasn't developed any warps during drying. If you need to, you can place weights inside the tray to keep the bottom flat as it's drying. Once it's completely dry, it's ready for whatever finish I might want for the piece. This has been the process I go through to create these type of leather trays. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comments section. I'll do my best to get you an answer. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, please hit the like button and subscribe so you'll be notified of other videos as they come out. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.